Mangku Pastika unveils North Bali Airport project. BIBU boss says he will meet with President Jokowi soon. Actually, that's President Prabowo. Wrong headline. And threatening larger mass protests, the Bali Tourism Drivers Forum demands the DPRD's promise on non-DK vehicle regulations be fulfilled. Stay tuned for details on these and other stories. Selamat pagi. Welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is August 27th, end of August 2025, and my name is Bruce. And what is the weather like today? Well, it is going to be hot. It is already 32 degrees at 8:22 in the morning. Humidity is all the way down, though, to 47%, and the wind speed is 4.5 kilometers per hour, but it has been windy all week, and I expect that the wind will pick up again later this afternoon. Beautiful looking day, and the dolphin boats were out this morning, out in front of the house. A lot of dolphin boats, maybe 50. So I guess there's still tourists in the Lovina area. But first, let's get to one of my favorite stories, the North Bali Airport. Yes, it's back in the news once again, but this time with the former governor chiming in. Mangku Pastika unveils North Bali Airport project. BIBU boss says he will meet with President Prabowo soon. The head of the North Bali International Airport, that's called BIBU, said that in the near future he will meet with the President of the Republic of Indonesia, Pak Prabowo, Subianto. Now, he said this about 4 months ago, and that apparently never happened. This meeting is to discuss the readiness of airport construction in North Bali. To the media crew, Pak Erwanto said that he had written to the president in early August 2025. He added that this letter had been received by the Cabinet Secretariat of the Republic of Indonesia. He said, the president has planned to receive us all to immediately execute what he has stipulated in Presidential Decree 12 of 2025. If possible, this month, he said this on Sunday. Pak Erwanto said that in the meeting, his party would convey the readiness of the construction of the North Bali Airport. Not only is the company ready in terms of infrastructure, it is also ready in terms of budget and workforce. Many people doubt these preparations, he said. Therefore, we will prove to the president that preparations are complete and we are ready to work. Really? How many times have I heard this over the last 20 or so years? Pak Erwanto also touched on the issue of Balinese people as spectators. He emphasized that the construction of North Bali Airport will create more than 200,000 jobs. Currently, the workforce needs have been prepared. He has 200,000 people ready to go to work. One of them is by signing a cooperation agreement with Mandara Sejati Foundation, which manages a Taruna Mandara High School. He said, we've prepared an agreement with this school and this foundation. We're preparing all the necessary manpower for the airport, from the construction project to management. We'll also discuss what we can do during construction so everyone is involved. The real purpose of our collaboration today is to prepare a workforce for the airport. Apart from the Mandara Sejati Foundation, he's also collaborated with 4 other universities, including Udayana, Mahasaraswati, Panji Sakti, and Undiksa up here in the north. We are striving to absorb as many local workers as possible. Primarily, they must be Balinese, especially from Buleleng. This will ensure our goal of balancing the economies of South and North Bali, he said. It was also said that the total budget for the construction of the airport is now 50 trillion rupiah. And all of these funds are from investors who are members of the consortium. Most recently, there was additional funding from investors in Qatar worth $1.8 billion US dollars. We are also currently in the process of securing additional funding with investors from Singapore and Dubai. He added that his party is currently exploring opportunities for collaborating with all airlines as well. So they don't have any airlines lined up to be in this mythical airport. We've already partnered with several foreign airlines. We only have 2 domestic airlines. Which airlines are there? He doesn't say. Meanwhile, the former governor of Bali, Made Mangku Pastika, revealed his ideas regarding the development of North Bali Airport. One of them must have a positive impact on the Balinese people so they are not merely spectators. This was stated by him when met after the signing of the MOU between BIBU and Mandara Sejati Foundation as the manager of the Taruna Mandara High School. Mangku Pastika, the founder of the foundation, explained that the construction of the airport in North Bali has been in the works for a long time. In fact, since the drafting of the Bali RTRWP regional regulation in 2009, the idea of the airport has been included in that. He said, I became governor in 2008. In 2009, regional regulation number 16 concerning spatial planning plan, RTRWP, emerged. So from the start, I believed that an airport in North Bali was necessary. And of course, he is from North Bali. He emphasized that the construction of the airport was not for the benefit of certain groups of foreigners. According to him, the airport is a national strategic project, so it must be managed by the state, not other parties. There is no airport for foreigners. The airport is for us, for the people. Foreign capital may be required, but operations must remain the responsibility of the Republic of Indonesia. This must be ensured from the outset. Furthermore, he highlighted a number of things that must be considered in airport construction, starting from the environmental impact, the presence of fishermen, sacred areas, and the fate of local residents. For me, the important thing is not to damage nature, not to damage culture. Sacred sites must not be disturbed, and most importantly, Balinese people must work and receive economic benefits. He admitted that he had signed the Memorandum of Understanding regarding the project. On that occasion, he also emphasized the importance of preparing local human resources so they can be absorbed in the construction and operation of the airport. We don't want Balinese people to be just spectators. That's why I've formed a team to determine what kind of human resources are needed, so we can prepare now according to the needs. A study. Regarding the location, he emphasized that all decisions must be based on aviation technology studies, not just baseless opinions. Many say it's suitable for the East. Some say it's for the West. Check first. Don't let non-experts talk about airports. Meanwhile, the coordinator of Penglingsir Puri Puri throughout Bali said that in principle, all of them have the hope that Bali will progress and its people will prosper. The presence of his party, together with the Penglingsir of those palaces, aims to balance the development between North and South Bali. He said, Bulaling does have Lieutenant Colonel Wisnu Airfield, but it's only for training. Therefore, an international airport is needed, especially with Bali as a leading tourist destination in Indonesia. If we only have one airport, what will happen in the next 5 years? With the construction of the airport in North Bali, we also hope that development will be equitable and the surrounding community will benefit economically. And we've heard these arguments so many times. Where are they going to get 200,000 people from Bulaling to work there? So a lot of questions as usual. Is this going to happen? Well, you know my opinion on that. Okay, let's move on. Protests have been going on. Protests have been going on all over the country, and we'll talk about some of those in a little while. Let's talk about this one first. And who is involved? Drivers, as usual. Threatening larger mass protests, the Bali Tourism Drivers Forum demands the DPRD's promise on non-DK vehicle regulations be fulfilled. Demanding the fulfillment of its promise, the Bali Tourism Drivers Struggle Forum, FPDPB, held an audience with the Bali Regional People's Representative Council on Monday. That's the DPRD. They returned to demand clarity and the legislative process promise 6 months ago to realize their demands through the formation of a regional regulation on tourism transportation. The purpose of the forum is to demand fulfillment of promises. Perhaps our friends from the PS also knew about our peaceful demonstration on the 25th, and they promised 6 months. Well, that's our goal. Where's the regional regulation process? There must be clarity, said the coordinator of the protests. Dharmayasa stated that the forum, which now has over 5,000 members, has 6 main demands. First, limiting the quota for special chartered transportation in Bali. Second, the restructuring of vendors deemed to be violating regulations. Third, the standardization of transportation fares, which has not been updated since 2017. Fourth, demand is the requirement of drivers to have Balinese ID cards. This tourism developed from our traditional culture. These traditions are what make Bali unique, and all that which draws the spirit of Taksu to attract tourists. Fifth, the requirement for vehicles to have DK plates to prevent taxes from flowing out of the region. Sixth, standardization of competency of tourism drivers. Meanwhile, he said, Bali is the only one in the world with tradition. Really? Until recently, my guests were amazing. But now Bali is different. It's sad. I just arrived and was greeted with traffic jams. According to him, this demand is very urgent considering the increasingly chaotic condition of Bali's tourism, especially the transportation sector. From the price war, the large number of vehicles with non-Bali license plates, to the low quality of driver service, there are concerns that this situation is damaging Bali's tourism image in the eyes of tourists. He also emphasized that the forum will continue to monitor the deliberations of the draft regional regulation until it is finished. He said if it's not finished, we'll come back even more. And they're ready to. Why? It's already this far, so why not do this? That's all that's left. In other words, get on with it and get the regulation passed. They hope that the regulation can be passed by the end of September. If it's delayed again, they have asserted their readiness to hold further demonstrations with larger crowds. Meanwhile, the Bali Regional People's Representative Council confirmed that the draft regional regulation regarding transportation will be discussed soon. He added that the draft regional regulation will be brought to a plenary session of the DPRD on September 1st, just a few days. From there, the deliberation process will last for about a month, before it's ratified. Within 1 month, hopefully in early October, we'll have a vote, ideally by the end of September. However, he emphasized that deliberations are still open. And here is a feel-good story. I like feel-good stories. Still in good health, a dolphin stranded on the beach was finally rescued by local residents. Hooray! A dolphin suffered a tragic fate. It was washed ashore in Gilimanuk on Sunday, a couple days ago. Luckily, this large marine mammal was immediately discovered by residents so that it could be herded back into the middle of the sea by local fishermen. According to Sony Budikusuma, a resident of Gilimanuk, the dolphin was found while heading towards shallow waters, almost reaching the shoreline. At first we thought it was dead, but it turned out to be alive, he said. Due to its large size, some residents thought the dolphin was a shark or a whale. However, the fishermen confirmed it was a dolphin. Everyone was amazed. It was so big for a dolphin. Several residents and fishermen finally worked together to push and herd the dolphin back into the middle of the sea. The effort was successful and the dolphin was able to return to its habitat. And so, good for those guys. They saved a dolphin. Okay, and more protests. And this time in Jakarta. Protests break out against lawmakers' excessive salaries. Hundreds of people marched in the streets around the House of Representatives complex in Central Jakarta on Monday to protest lawmakers' excessive salaries and rampant corruption. Protesters, many of whom were dressed in dark clothing, clashed with police officers in front of the legislative complex as they tried to break through a barricade. Police fired tear gas and water cannons to push the crowd back. The protest grew more rowdy later in the afternoon as the crowd continued hurling rocks and fireworks despite the authorities' attempts to clear the area. Many also waved the flag of the Japanese anime One Piece, which has recently been turned into a popular symbol of protest against injustices in the country. There was no official record of casualties or arrests from the authorities. Jakarta police spokesperson said 1,250 police personnel were deployed on Monday to maintain security. Many of the demonstrators appeared to be students or ojek drivers. The demonstration was initiated by several organizations, including the student executive body, BEM, of the University of Indraprastha, PGRI, and the Indonesian Muslim Students Association. They were protesting against excessive pay for lawmakers in response to reports that they earn more than 100 million rupiah a month, including an additional housing allowance that was introduced late last year. This paycheck is worth nearly 20 times Jakarta's minimum wage and caused public outcry in the past week amid sluggish economic growth. House Speaker Puan Maharani has dismissed any salary hike but noted that the housing allowance had been added to their pay. Protesters from a student group called Perkumpulan Mahasiswa Indonesia and another group called Indonesian Millennials demanded the dissolution of the House altogether. a popular sentiment on social media over the week. Other groups also called for a long-discussed asset forfeiture bill to be passed into law in order to help scale up the fight against corruption. In response to Monday's protest, Puan promised that legislators would take the protesters' demands into account. We will continue to accommodate all aspirations for the public, she said, and ask for their opinions to help improve legislators' performance so we can build a nation hand in hand. More protests are expected to take place this week, including demonstrations planned by labor unions in front of the legislative complex in Jakarta and in other major cities across the country. Thousands of workers will take to the street on Thursday across the country's 38 provinces, according to the Confederation of Indonesia Trade Unions chairman. Okay, that is it for today. Out of time. More stories listed in the description if you want to look those up by yourself. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Take care, and I will see you again next Wednesday. Have a great week.